back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Sandy. You're looking live at Jacksonville Beach, Florida, where a tropical storm watch is in effect. Hurricane Sandy is shaping up to be a mega storm and one for the record book. Some 50 million people in the Northeast alone could be in the line of fire. And right now, Hurricane Sandy, a Category 1 storm, but its impacts, of course, are going to reach far beyond any potential landfall. Everyone from Florida to Maine, you need to be on alert, and you need to start to prepare. For more on Sandy's impacts, here's Vivian.
Well, as we've been mentioning, Heather, unfortunately, Sandy has already turned deadly as it passed through the Caribbean. Here is the very latest. At least 21 deaths in total in Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica are being blamed for Sandy. Now, preparations are underway here in the U.S. Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick is expecting utilities to submit plans for the storm today. And New York City has opened an emergency situation room and activated its coastal storm plan. We're keeping you ahead of the latest information here in the studio and our coverage, of course, of teams out in the field. Both Mike Seidel and Storm Tracker Jim Cantore will be reporting from Singer Island, Florida throughout the day. And Stephanie Abrams and Al Roker are in Manalapan, Florida. But we began with hurricane specialist Carl Parker. He's in the Global Forecast Center. And Carl, this system is a little slower as of the 11 o'clock advisory, but that doesn't change much at all.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be moving along probably at about the same pace for a while, and then we'll move off to the north and to the east, and then move north and west. And we've got a new model run now. We've been talking about the differences in the models over the last couple of days, and these two main models that we look at, the European and the GFS, agree on the idea of the storm coming into the northeast. What they disagree about is the timing of that and exactly where along the northeast coast we'll see this storm make landfall. And the USGFS model comes out around the middle of the day, so we have the new run here for you. What you're looking at in these blue lines right here, you're seeing the lines of equal pressure, and where they're very tightly packed like that, that's very low pressure. So that's the center of the storm. And then here you see the USGFS showing a slightly different initialization, a slightly different initial condition, or the way that the storm is right now. Now, as we go through time, we'll march this forward. And you see how the models are pretty close going into tomorrow, taking the storm to the north and to the east, and still pretty close on Sunday. But this does actually make a big difference in terms of what type of impact we could see in eastern parts of North Carolina and southeastern Virginia as the GFS model continues to want to take the storm farther offshore. Now, this is where it gets really different. Here's Monday, and the European model, the latest one, which is from last night. And by the way, we'll get a new model run of the European coming up here at about 3 o'clock Eastern time, so we'll have that for you in our 4 o'clock show. And the last run of the European takes the storm into the Delmarva. That would have huge implications for the surge potential in New Jersey, for example, and around Cape May and into the Delaware Bay. And we would see this major windstorm centered on the Mid-Atlantic region, whereas the GFS, the U.S. model, continues to hook the storm around farther north and take it more towards New York, which brings those ocean effects farther northward and more towards New England. So still some pretty substantial differences in terms of timing and where the storm will move in. But again, it's a very large storm, and so most of the northeast is going to be in for a tremendous storm. Mike Seidel's been covering the storm in Singer Island, Florida, and he's got this report for us. Mike?
We've got a break in the action right now here at Singer Island. We've had some rather rambunctious squalls roll through this morning. Now we've got some brightening, even some blue sky and sunshine, but the winds are still running down the beach, north to south, steadily at about 25 miles an hour. And then when the squalls come through, we get gusts as high as 40 miles an hour. We've had the wind erosion taking the top layer of sand off this beautiful beach, which has been replenished. And then we come down to the beach, down towards the water and the surf. Tide is going out. By the way, next tide this evening, 6:45. No issues with that one because the wind's going to be blowing from the northwest. But look at this. As I get down towards the water, what you're seeing, this drop-off is from beach erosion, and this has been the #1 impact here in South Florida. We had expected this. with this wind blowing onshore. Now it's a north wind turning northwest. About 5 to 6 feet of sand has been lost. Meanwhile, once the storm pulls through, the winds will turn northwest. As I mentioned, drier air comes in. Weekend here looks fine. If you're coming down here, no reason to cancel your plans. It will be very windy tomorrow. The sun mixing up the atmosphere will have gusts upwards of 35 or more miles an hour from the northwest. Then sunny, but still a bit breezy with gusts 20 to 25 on Sunday here in South Florida. And as that megastorm heads into the northeast Monday and Tuesday, that'll drag down some of the coolest air of the season. And by Tuesday morning, lows here in the Palm Beach area down somewhere in the mid-50s. Heather, back to you.